If sleep is for the weak, you know where I'll be. Tangled in my head, replaying memories. Close my eyes and pray for some kind of clarity. A dream in black and white beats all that I see. I can feel it in my bones when I see your face. It's the cruelest kind of dream, driving me insane. If sleep is for the weak, you know I'll be. There is nothing that takes the pain away. Just darkness that covers everything. I'm losing my grip on reality. And you never loved me anyway. I cannot live here in yesterday. If rest is for the dead, you know where I'll be. 6 feet in the dead, right where you want me. If sleep is for the weak, you know where I'll be. There is nothing that takes the pain away. Just darkness that covers everything. I'm losing my grip on reality. And you never loved me anyway. I cannot live here in yesterday. I see you in my sleep, but you always lie. I need you gone for good, take the pain away. I see you in my sleep, but you always lie. I need you gone for good, take the pain away. Sleep is for the take the pain away. There is nothing that takes the pain away. Just darkness that covers everything. I'm losing my grip on reality. And you never loved me anyway. I cannot live here in yesterday. You will deceive myself away. There's nothing that takes the pain away. Take the pain away.
This time, every single time, I forget to turn my microphone back on. Hi guys, hi, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? Hi. I decided to go a little dark with my look today. A little dark. I felt like it was appropriate because Devil May Cry. Like, hello. All right, let me say hi to everybody. Mo, let me say hi first. God, don't be rude. Dutchie. Yeah. Dutchie. Holy shit, Dutchie.
I love your face.
I'm Zippier. Thank you for the
I love
follow.
I love
Wild
Dutchie.
Cubby Ambush.
Go follow
Thank
MJ,
you,
guys.
Cubby. If y'all aren't following Cubby and you're in here, you're making a mistake because Cubby is literally one of the funnest streamers ever. Hydrate, that's a good idea.
Go do it. Go
House stream, it's good. We just finished one of the Divine
Don't
Beasts.
do it, MJ. I see you. Do it. Do
So
it.
that was crazy. It
I
wasn't
need to move
super
up my
difficult.
chat box. Wait, I need to move my chat box a little bit. Go up. Go up. There we go. Go follow Lilith.
just killed
Go follow
himself.
Lilith. Go do it. Go do it. Go do it. Go do it right now. Right now. Write me out. Right now. Go follow them. They're fantastic people. I love
They're
them.
killing themselves.
I love them. Go. Right now. Look at that. Amazing gameplay. Top-notch person. Go follow them. Okay, I'm gonna say hi to everybody. Doug, welcome in. Thank you for redeeming first. Lilith, I love your face. How are you? How are you? Commencing the flexing. Do it. Flex all over the stream. You got that first. If you go to Joann's to pick out bulky yarn for a knitting project, but you're taking a super long time to decide, is that considered nitpicking? I love that. I love that. Mo, go lay down. You're pushing my chair everywhere. Go lay down. Go. That song had mid-90s vibes. It reminded me of being a kid that just got some candy and is going home with my dad to watch a new Power Rangers movie. Now I want a fountain drink and a terrible gas station food. Get your giant fountain drink. Jay Killer, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing good. I have the Devil May Cry HD collection on PS3. I wonder if I'll like playing it. So, Doug, I love it so far. I am not very far into the game, but I am, like, obsessed with it. It took everything in me to not play it this week. It's fantastic. If you love fast-paced action games like I do, you will love Devil May Cry. Especially if you like the darker story. Like, I like dark, creepy stories. And this is giving me, like, dark, creepy vibes. So I really think you'll love it. I really do. It's a pretty cool series. One of my favorites of all time. It's so good. My fiance loves the games. Yes, I highly recommend playing. Yes. In for a treat. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you for being here. Yes, thank you for being here, guys. I love your faces. Wish I could stay, but I have D&D in an hour. Oh, Jay Killer, go enjoy D&D. Go enjoy D&D. I'm... Rex and Raiders, welcome in, welcome in. If this is your first time in the channel, my name is Animagus Arts. I am a variety streamer. I love Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Legend of Zelda, anything fast-paced, actiony. That's my vibe. I am a certified gremlin, but I'm also a little bit of a little sweet bean. I like to do crazy challenges on stream. Like right now, we are attempting to get through Kingdom Hearts by playing the controller with my feet. Yes, you heard that correctly. It is not a dance pad. I am controller and toes. So, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm just going through and saying hi to everybody. We just started the stream. Rex, thank you for trusting me with your community. And I promise I'll take good care of your friendos. How was your stream? What were you playing? I think I saw you on Twitter talking about Mario Tennis. I think I saw that right, unless that was like an old tweet. How was everything? I hope it was a good stream. I am Catchy Jump on chat, so I will welcome everyone in a minute. J Killer, go enjoy D&D. I love your face. I miss playing D&D. Just stopping in real quick to say hi, and then I have to go figure out lunch. Yes, go get the foods. Go take care of yourself. Go do all pre-D&D care. Do the thing. I love you. Dragon Destroyer, welcome in. How are you? MJ, of course, I love your face. Dies? No, ma'am, you're not allowed to die. You're not allowed to die. Dutchie, thank you for the 4 months. I love your face. Thank you so much for the tier 1. Thank you for all the shout outs, Cosmic. Thank you, thank you. Oh God, why don't do it? It's a trap. No, go follow MJ. Go follow MJ. Go follow Lilith. And shit, go follow Dutchie. Go do all the things. All the things. If anyone else is streaming on Animagus is good side, let me know or her know, and I'll keep shouting out. Yes, I'm John Cena, ma'am. Excuse me. Cosmic, can we get a shout out for Rex if we didn't already get one? I don't know if we did. If we didn't, can we get one, please? Okay. There we go. Go follow Rex. Go check out their content. I just met them a little bit ago. They're really sweet bean. Go follow them.
Just to watch. But wait, no, not comfy.
Yeah,
not
Mario
comfy.
Tennis. How was Mario Tennis? How was stream? I'll never forget the first time I played Devil May Cry. It was between that and Resident Evil Code Veronica. Here's the ironic part. DMC was at one point going to be the next Resident Evil game. Yeah! Chat was telling me that last stream that it was supposed to be, like, I think, part of the Resident Evil 4 world. Like, that era. If I'm remembering correctly. I have goldfish brain. Speedrunning Mario Tennis 64. Holy shit. How do you... That's interesting. I'll have to check that out because that is insane. A controller. Yes, I play with a controller. Now that your controller is working, you have no excuse to not smash this. No, I have tiny excuse for the beginning because now I have to figure out what the controls are on controller. Because I know them on keyboard, I don't know on controller. Now, hey, Octopath. Ooh, I need to play Octopath. I, like, checked it out a little while ago, but I never actually started playing it. Falling for damn sure now. Beautiful. I love it. I love Octopath. I've heard it's really good. I've heard it's a really good game to play. Also, you speedrun it by going through all the tournaments as fast as possible. Oh. Interesting. The fact that you could, like, speedrun any game is crazy to me. Guess what? What, MJ? What? No excuses. Kill the Spooter. Oh, I'm killing Spooter today. Spooter gonna die. Spooter's 110% gonna die. Now how long it takes me, I have no idea. That's a whole other story. It's like 15 minutes. Beautiful. Beautiful. You're hot. No, MJ, you're hot. You're hot. What are you talking about? Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Cosmic, you're hot too. Tis true. Tis true. But welcome in, guys. Welcome in. I love your faces. I have big announcement. All of the details are not worked out yet. I just had my first meeting about it this morning. But we have another charity event coming up. I was reached out to by and I'm a part of the Rex and Raid from Stream Sanctuary. Beautiful. Tangent Frenzy 5. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. Thank you. I want all S rank combos from here on out too. It's not that hard. Listen. I suck at video games. If y'all came here expecting good, like, God tier gameplay, you're in the wrong place. River! Hi, River. I love your face. I love you so much. How are you? Welcome in. So yeah, I was reached out to by a charity organization. Why are you yelling? Why? That's rude. He just licking my arm. Are we good now? Are we good? Okay, you're fine. You're fine. Go lay down. We have Stream Puppy for our new friendos. We have Stream Puppy that likes to just yell at everyone. But he's a sweet boy. He's just very, very loud. He's just very loud. You're in for a treat if you're in for an Annie stream. Oh no. Oh no. Thank you for the welcome in for Tangent. Thank you. I'm good. How are you, MJ? I love your face. I'm good, River. I'm good. I'm excited to play some more Devil May Cry today. I'm really excited. Really, really excited. But anyways, so I was reached out, if you're familiar with Shady Joker charity streams, I was reached out to by the same company, Soft Giving. They asked me if I could do a charity event in February, which I usually do February charity events anyways, so perfect timing. We settled on a date today. So I am going to be doing a charity stream on February 12th. It is a Sunday. I'm going to try to make it a 12-hour stream because I didn't go the full 12 hours for my last event because I was sick. So I want to do it this time. We're going to be raising money for Hope for the Day. It is a charity organization that raises awareness about suicide and mental illness and mental health. So I'm really excited about that. Those are the bare details that I have right now. But I wanted to start telling you guys about it now because you guys get to pick my incentives. You guys get to pick what happens to me at certain milestones. I have to submit a list to them, and they get to make my milestones and my charity goals. So if you are not in the Discord, I will be making a channel in the Discord for you to put all of your suggestions in. You have, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks to come up with any incentives before I have to give something to them. I have some basic ideas of things to do, but if you guys have ideas, I am welcome to hearing them. I know I already owe you guys a husband does my makeup from last time, so that needs to be planned. But yeah, I wanted to like let you guys know that ahead of time so I can start to be proactive about planning and do a little bit better than I have in the past about planning events. So that's the next big thing that's coming to the channel. There's a couple other things that are in the works that I don't want to announce yet because like it's even more bare details than the charity event. So that's coming up in February. I'm super excited. I'm honored that they asked me to raise money for them. It is a big honor, and I hope that I get to work with them more in the future. So that's going to be exciting. What else? Oh, also, thank you everybody that came out Thursday for the late DGen hour Beat Saber stream. I had a lot of fun with that. I had a lot of fun, and we are officially 2 followers away from hitting 1100. So that's amazing. That's really cool. Doing the damn thing out here. And it was a fantastic event on Thursday for the New Year, New Friends raid train. I had a blast. Beat Saber was a lot of fun to stream, and I got to hang out with you guys, of course, and celebrate my birthday. Ace, welcome in. How are you? I love your face. Mo, what are you doing back there? Why are you all up in the corner, you weirdo? You weirdo. Big achievements abound. Yo, I know. I'm so freaking thrilled. Like, it's amazing. It like I didn't even think 100 people were gonna follow me, and here we are, almost at 1100. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, I just wanted to extend a big thank you for everyone that hung out on Thursday. I'm okay. How are you today? I'm doing good. I was up a little bit early because I had that meeting with Soft Giving to go over like the basic details. And what? Ow. Why are you? Why? Hi, Mo. Hi, what are you doing? Ow. That's my wrist. Weirdo. Why is my dog so weird? But yeah, so it's I am beyond honored for everybody that spends time with me. Like, y'all are real MVPs. I would not be doing this without y'all. So just thank you. Okay, I'm back. Had to lurk for a few minutes. My toddler was throwing a tantrum. Oh no, I hope the tantrum's over. But of course, like, life first. If you like, my stream is not that important. Definitely like go take care of things. If something comes up. A-Lig, I see you here. A-Lig, I love your face. How are you? Let's see. I'm sniffing real close to 500. Definitely excited myself. Let's go, Rex. Let's go. Let's see. Metal! Hi, Metal. I love your face. Hope you're having a good weekend. My weekend's been pretty good. I took yesterday off to do some YouTube stuff. Because I'm really trying to get that channel going some more. New video comes out tonight. It is part 5, I think, of the feet percent playthrough. I think I have like up through part 7 edited and scheduled to upload. I'm planning on doing some Minecraft stuff that's going to be hopefully uploaded later this week, or if I could get it edited tomorrow. But then I want to do some Stardew Expanded stuff. I really enjoyed that mod, but I don't have time in my stream schedule to stream it, so I want to do some YouTube stuff for it. Let's see. Doing well enough today. Dad got lucky last night. Didn't break anything when he took a fall in the hospital room while no one was around. I'll take that as right. Oh no. I mean, I'm glad that your dad didn't break anything and it sounds like he's not seriously injured. But it sucks that he fell. I'm so sorry, Alig. Call my brother out. I approve of this. Oh my god, I love this. Also, thank you to everyone that came out last night for the first community night of the year. And the first one that we had in a while. Hung out, we played some Final Fantasy 14. A couple of people were playing some other games while we were in there, so it was really, really nice to hang out with everyone in the community. We're gonna be doing that hopefully weekly. Just hanging out on Saturdays, Saturday nights after stream, and kind of decompressing and playing some games. It's probably going to be Final Fantasy 14 for the most part, but we might do some Cards Against Humanity. I know Jay Killer was asking if we could do another Cards Night, which we've done that before. So yeah, that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to planning more in the future. All right. Okay, Mo, go lay down. Go lay down. I did want to show you guys. I got a birthday gift that came in. I haven't opened it yet. Like, I've opened the box and pulled it out, but I haven't, like, opened the full thing, so I kind of want to, like, do that with you guys on stream. I thought that would be really fun. He's doing good. He was feeling, Spire tried to go to his own, didn't quite make it. Oh, no. I mean, I'm glad that he was, like, kind of feeling himself up to doing that, but, that sucks that that happened. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but at least he's okay. Like, at least he's okay and he didn't, injure himself too bad. So there is a silver lining to there. We have to fix lunch. Love your face. AJ Killer, I love your face. Go get the noms. Go get the noms. I'm gonna go grab that birthday gift. It's right there on my table. So I'll be like back in 2 seconds. Back in 2 seconds. Literally 2 seconds. Okay, so this is a birthday gift from my mom. But I've been dying to get this for like a couple of years. This is my this is my birthday gift. Go lay down. So this is a birthday gift from my mom. I've been this has been on my wish list for a while now. Mo, get out from under my desk. I'm gonna run you over. So I'm gonna open this on stream with you guys, but my mom bought me this. She bought me the Kingdom Hearts Ultimania, the story before Kingdom Hearts 3. And I haven't opened it yet. I need a thing to open it. Where's something sharp? I need something sharp. Where did my thing go? I had tweezers over here. Where did they go? I was literally just using them. Where did they go? Ha! Okay, they're there. There they are. Eh! I'm so excited. Amazing. I know. Oh. It's still sealed and everything. Oh. Oh, this is not the back cover. Oh, shit. I thought this was the back cover. This is just a sheet of paper. Okay. I'm gonna put that right there. Put that right there. Ah. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so excited. Oh. Is this? Oh, it has the full series timeline. Bro, okay. So now when people ask me like what do I recommend, I don't have to sit here and think about what the timeline is. Should I mention I also have 1.5 2.5 remixes for PS3 too. Heard the PS4 versions were laggy, timing didn't line up perfectly for time button hits in battle, so I opted for PS3 instead. Beautiful. Oh, okay. Oh my god. And it's got all of the worlds. Oh my god. Look at this. It's got all, oh my god. It has all the keyblades. And then the character files. Oh my god. So, fun fact. I was thinking about doing a YouTube series where I did like character analysis of the like everybody in Kingdom Hearts and like just going over basic information, and I'm like, I could use this to help my research. Oh my god. Are these
It's too damn hot for a penguin to be just walking around here.
Amber! Hi, Amber. I love you. I love your face. How are you? I hope you're doing good. They have storyboards. Oh, they have storyboards for the summons? Bruh. That'd be rad. Yeah, I want to do a YouTube series, like just going over like basic information about Kingdom Hearts. Because I have a lot of my friends, like they associate me with Kingdom Hearts, which I'm like honored. I would love to be known as that Kingdom Hearts crazy chick. But they also ask me like to explain things and like, well, what happens here, or where is this in the timeline? And it's just like, let me make a series and then direct them to said series, and they could get all of their questions answered. You're gorgeous. Oh my god, Amber, no, you're gorgeous. What are you talking about? Oh my god. I am in love with this book. I am absolutely in love with this book. Oh my god. And then they have all of like the stories. Oh. And this will be good for me to like recap, because like Chain of Memories, I've only like, I didn't even finish Chain of Memories. I watched the cutscenes. So like this will help me like jog my memory of some things. Oh my god. Oh, so they go in order of, they go in chronological order of the story. Madden, how are you? I love your face. Hi, Madden. I hope you're feeling okay. They have all the Dream Eaters? Oh my god, those are cute. Holy shit. Oh my god, they also have, okay, so like here's all the well, like not all of the Heartless, but like they have Heartless listed here, right? And then over here they have like what game they appear in. Bro, that's cool. I'm good, tired, but I'm okay. How are you? I am like dying over this book. Oh my god. I am dying. Like, this book is amazing. This is like, if you are a Kingdom Hearts fan, get this book. Get this book. It's $22 on Amazon. $22. And it is so pretty. Like, look at that. And then the back. This is my new favorite thing. I can't wait to read this from cover to cover. Like, I cannot wait. I think this is one of my favorite gifts I've ever gotten. I'm so excited. So yeah, my mom bought this. And then I also have another gift coming in. Somebody bought me Junimo magnets from Stardew Valley, and I'm super excited for those to come in. I don't know when they're gonna get here, but they're gonna get here at some point in time, real soon. So I'm really excited for those. Thank you guys for like sharing this experience with me. This makes me happy. I'm gonna go put this back. I need to find a place to put it, because like I have ooh, oh, I almost like wiped my table clean because there's a wire cut here. So I have like the Hyrule Historia right here. Now I need to figure out where I'm gonna put this. Now I need to figure out where I'm gonna put this on my bookshelves. I don't know where yet though. Okay. So now that we've chatted for like 40 minutes, how about we get into some Devil May Cry? I think it's Devil May Cry time. I think it's Devil May Cry time. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna move that right there. And then that. How is game audio? Is it too loud, too soft? Let me know. Oh, the coolest cutscene, Alistor. That was so fucking cool. Please let me know if I need... Sounds good on my end? Let's go! Dutchy! I love your face. I love your face. Okay. Fucking playing with controller?
HD collection.
I have controller! David Quaid, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing good. I love your face. Hello? 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 Game? Are we not gonna game capture? We were just game capturing. Hello, my cry! There we go. I was like, wait a second!
Let's rock, baby.
Please, let's rock. Please. Woo! Okay, I have controller! Oh, okay. This is Spooner about to get fucked up, maybe. I'm good today, lovely. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm excited to be playing this game. Okay, y'all said blue orb last time. Okay. Okay. Exit. I'm gonna lower this just a little bit. I feel like it's a little loud. I'm just like taking it a couple notches down. There we go. I literally said to Shelly about 5 seconds ago, I'm very excited for the Edith Finch stream now. So am I. I think I own Edith Finch, but I've never played it. Okay. That's to jump. Okay. Okay, I'm just trying to get my bearings with the controls. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be so much better. Oh, this is gonna be so much better. I'm really excited for him to play Edith Finch. I've heard it's a good game. I've heard it's a little creepy. And we all know how Shady does with, I'm gonna lower my headset a little bit. We all know how Shady does with, like, creepy horror things. So it ought to be interesting how he handles this. I mean, man's literally stood in the foyer of Visage for 10 minutes, did not move, did not start a chapter, and freaked out and panic quit the game. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he handles it being creepy. It's like he couldn't even handle like the ambient noise of Visage. I didn't even think of that. Just hyped for the game. I'm hyped too. Don't get me wrong. I want to see if he survives. Like, I don't know. He did outlast very reluctantly, but he did outlast. So it's like maybe he'll survive. Who knows? Who freaking knows? But I'm excited for him to start playing some indie games. I played some indie games in my off time. And I'm excited for him to experience the indie world. Okay. I need to... Oh, fuck. How do I... Stop. 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 No. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Okay, give health and get me the fuck out of here. He'll survive. It's not that bad, to be honest. Okay, good. Like, I think he'll be fine. I'm just wondering, like, if there's any, like, creepy ambiance, how he's gonna handle it. But we'll see. I'm gonna be there to, like, troll the shit out of him. Okay. Spooner time! Can I skip this? Okay, alright. Woo! Whoa! Nope. Fuck your fireball. Ah! I can't see me, I can't see me, I can't see me. Okay, this is already, like, loads better. Go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Ah! Okay, okay, I need to get the camera back on him. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, Speeder. Ah! Oh, you son of a bitch. Do I have anything to heal? No, I don't. Shit. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Shit. I literally... Oh, come on, come on. No, no. What the? Get the fuck out of here! Controller is better! I did it. I did it. I did it! I struggled so hard. I struggled so hard with that on mouse and keyboard. Okay, okay. Heal Survivor will never let him hear the end of it. Facts, though. Fucking facts. Like, I will relentlessly bully that man like I do about Visage. Never played these games before. Looks pretty cool. Dude, these games are amazing, Tangent. Like, this is my first playthrough, and I have only done one stream of it, and I am in love. I am in love with these games. Also, I like how your channel points are Gil. I'm into Final Fantasy, so they use Gil usually. Yes, I love Final Fantasy. Anything Square Enix, I am a huge, huge fan. Like, I play a shit ton of Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is my bread and butter. Final Fantasy, I have done 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a little bit of 10 2, 13, a little bit of 13 2, and 14. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. Red 13 is best boy. Red 13 is best boy. And I just got into Final Fantasy 14. I actually play Final Fantasy 14 on Monday. And viewers are welcome to like join in on me. I'm gonna be doing like my things. But I've had some people like follow me around, just, you know, going where I go. So it's definitely time. I love Final Fantasy. Squish the Spooner, bless. Yeah, if anyone was here last week, y'all know that was a fucking struggle. Yes, we are saving. We are saving. Lately, I've been streaming Final Fantasy X. I really want to start some others as well. Yes, let's go. I love 10. I did a speedrun race with 3 other content creators. It was a 4-hour time slot, and we had to see who could get the furthest. I got all the way to Chocobo Eater. Like, I was actively in the Chocobo Eater fight when the time ran out, and it's only because like I died in the blitzball fight in Luca, and I had to restart the blitzball stuff, and it put me behind, and I wound up in 3rd place. I would have been in 2nd had I not died in blitzball. Wait, what server are you in? 14. I am in, so I have 2 accounts. My stream account is on Cactar, the North American Cactar server. And then my off-stream account that I play with people in the Discord is in Genova. So those are the 2 that I have. They're the same character, they're just at different points in the game. Final Fantasy is my all-time fave. First one I ever started. My first one was Final Fantasy IV. That was the first game I ever played Final Fantasy-wise. And that from there I played 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 to 13. Then I switched back to play 6. And then I started 14. I feel like I have plenty of yellow orbs, so I feel like maybe another blue orb will help out. Oh, I don't have shit for Alistar. I don't have shit. Fuck Blitzball? Dude, fuck Blitzball. I hate Blitzball parts. Jinx? Oh my god, I know it was a Jinx. I was doing so good. I was right behind. Can I go back in there? Oh, I can go back in there. Do I want to go? Secret mission? What is this? Defeat 100 phantom babies with an... Phantom babies? Phantom babies? What are phantom babies? Mom, I'm scared! Ah! Oh, these mini spooter bitches. Ooh. Oh, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this. Oh. Oh, there's so more back there. Okay. Alright, so this is secret mission. Secret mission I don't need to do. The Cactar is then. I'm in Midgard Summer. Oh. No! Secret mission. You failed. Don't need to rub it in my face. Damn. Okay, I don't even know. What am I supposed to do? What am I doing? Oh, wait, I know what I need to do. Okay, I know what I need to do. No! Go away! Oh! Stop that! Stop that! Stop it! Wait! What in the actual fuck just happened? Hello? Hello? Is it because I did the phantom babies? Is that why? He was pissed because I killed his babies? I mean, maybe he shouldn't have been such a dick. Okay, and then we're gonna run up here. Hello, Dante, get your shit together. We're gonna kill all these motherfucking things up here. Ooh, thank you for the hydrate. I'll get your hydrate in a second. Oh, well, I failed the mission anyways, so we're just... Okay. Secret mission, you failed. I wonder if I shoot them... Oh, I could step on them? Bruh. Game changer. A fucking game changer. Like my new little, like, flask looking water bottle. I love this thing. This thing looks so cool. I'm gonna be carrying this around the school and they're gonna be like, why do you have a flask? And just be like, you know what? Because these fucking kids, man. These fucking kids drive me to drink. Okay. So I can just step on them. Come on. Come here. Squish all of the spiders. Oh, I feel like this is not an effective way to do this mission. Definitely not. Like, where's their box for this? Okay. So, he's gonna come out and he's gonna try to touch my butt. And I'm not gonna like it. Ain't about to fight them kids. I am gonna fight them kids. Okay. Can I go in here? Can I go in here? I'm going in here. I'm not going back out in that hallway. That seems like a fucking death sentence. Okay, so I have this. Only those who the lion has accepted can set me free. Do I have to go fight him? I am safe in here. I don't wanna. I'm gonna die again. Well. He's not back out here. He ain't back out here. Wait a second. Wait a second. Fuck these puppet bitches. What is this? It's a landscape painting. There's an eerie aura surrounding it. What is that noise? Ah! Hey! Rude ass bitch. Y'all rude AF. Hello? Hello? Stop that. Stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, we're gonna go back in here. We're gonna go back in here. I definitely think that he showed back up because that was a secret mission. And yeah, so we're gonna go up here. Butt spot, please. Hey, butt, have you drank any water today? Have you? Don't butt now. Drink some damn butter. Drink some butter? Drink butter. Hello, butt spot, are you okay? I don't think butt spot's okay. It wants me to drink butter. Nope, nope, you stay down. Ah! What is that? Stop it! No! Dante, you're supposed to target the fucking puppet. Okay, so am I supposed to put, like, the pride of the lion here? There's something engraved beneath the opening. Luna! Welcome in, Luna! How are you? I hope you're doing good. Okay. It allows comfort. Okay, so I feel like I have to use this back at the door. But it didn't get, wait, it didn't give me the option to do it. Did we beat the spider? We did. We did. And then he showed up in the hallway. and scared the shit out of me and blew me up. I have it. I have it. And I'm gonna head out. Gotta focus on some project from work that I have to do. Rex, yes, go do work stuffs. Go do what you gotta do. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you for trusting me with your community. I really appreciate it. I will try to give them all back in one piece. But no promises. But thank you so much again. I love your face. Thank you, thank you. Shall I use the Pride of the Lion? Yes. Why do I feel like this is a huge mistake? Here sleeps the gatekeeper. Magical destruction will awaken him. Oh, they're resilient. I trust they'll be fine. Beautiful, beautiful. Magical destruction. Why do I feel like I fucked up? Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that. Nope, I don't like that. What?
Welcome to the Outback, motherfucker! Bam!
Okay. 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 So that was a thing that happened. That was a thing that happened. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing good, ma'am. Thank you so much for the ban. Thank you. Okay, maybe if I shoot him. Hey, I love your face, looking gorgeous. Thank you. We're gonna try to use the gun. Maybe I need distance. Maybe. We're gonna try that. I'm here for emotional support. I'm like mad that I have to like, okay, can I just like attack it? Okay, I didn't have to use my thing. Cool. Cool. Just got out of bed. Your girl's so exhausted. This break is nice. I'm still rest deprived. Woo! Ah! Get out of here. Hi, you bitch. Oh! Stop shooting things at me. Woo! Get back up here. Come on. Come on. You're a bitch. I hope you know that, you stupid cat. Ah! I'm sorry! Come on. Hello? Hello? Stop that. Can I go through here? Okay, I can escape. I can escape, and then I could go back. I hate that I can't see him. He's gonna stab me, he's gonna stab me, he's gonna stab me. Ooh! Ah! Fuck off. Ah! Stop it! I don't have anything that could heal. Oh! Wait! Wait! I'm doing good, Lady Sushi. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Oh, so glad to see you in here. Oh, do I? Ooh, I hopped right back in. Is this the thing? Where's he at? Woo! Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Ah! Ooh. Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? Oh, I did! I died! I died. I died. You are dead. Okay. Yes, I want to go to the load screen. We're gonna load this. I'm gonna see if I can do something with Alistar to power him up. No, I can't. I can't. So goodbye that. And that could help me out. We're gonna buy one of these. Just to keep, because I feel like I could probably get it if I have something to heal me up. I feel like I can get it. Please don't show back up. Why is it you are the way that you are? Go the fuck away. Go away. Just no. Thanks, I hate it. Thanks, but no thanks. God. Okay. Let me catch up on chat real quick. No, I did not get him. I did not get him at all. School starts next week. Let's go. Let's go, Luna. I'm so excited. I'm just super burnt out, exhausted, disappointed in some aspects, but I am looking forward to experimenting with some things and finally put me first, which will be hard. It will be hard, but you'll thank yourself in the end for putting yourself first. It was a big thing that I struggled with it too until I realized that I can't be my best for other people if I can't be my best for myself. Kind of like that, if I don't put myself first, I can't help anyone else out to the best of my abilities. So that kind of helped kickstart my brain into like, okay, bitch, get it together. Take care of yourself. And do what you gotta do so you can be 110%. Wow, why are you the way that you are? This is where I need to use this. Ah! Oh my god, what the fuck? I did it! I did it! Guys, I survived! I fucking did it! So I had the right idea, just the wrong execution. That ranged attacks were good! Yeah, first try. Literally never died. Literally never died. Yeah, Lena told me that I should put the same love into my own things just as much as I put in others. Exactly. Because you can't be your best self for others if you can't be your best self for yourself. Woo! Okay, I don't know where that door leads, so we're just gonna keep climbing up. This makes me think of the Shinra. What is this? Like the Shinra mission at the very beginning of Final Fantasy VII, where you have to like either choose, are we gonna burst through the front door or are we gonna climb all the stairs? There's something written. The sword is the key to freeing the soul. The key resides at the highest place. I might do a platinum run for DMC soon. Don't know when yet. I have a few trophies left for DMC 3. Let's go, Luna! Let's go! Hello? It's a statue of a female with a melancholic expression. There's an opening to place something. Okay, so I need a thing. It's an amazingly beautiful mirror, but still there's something dark and evil deep within its reflection, as if it's trying to suck me inside. Okay, well, let's not fuck with that. Don't mind me, I'm just vibing to this music. The music is pretty fucking great. Leroy Jenkins, or in this case, Animagoo Sarts. Drinks coffee? Oh no. An emblem of the sun is engraved. There's something written beneath it. The brightness of the guiding light will scorch you. Only those who can bear the light can open the new path. I mean, I was out in the sun, so does that count? What is all this? There are documents here that were probably used for diplomacy with the neighboring countries. By the way, Annie, you're not the only one in the world wearing the Dear Sweet Baby Jesus shirt. Oh, I love that. Ooh, I could buy things. I could do things here. I could do things. Yeah, so we's wearing some merch, the Dear Sweet Baby Jesus crop top. I don't know, I kind of felt like wearing merch today. Let's see. I also may have to experience more off time, delete if gross, but I'm trying to sort the forms I can to apply for funding of 3,000 euros to get breast implants as a part of trans care. I would never delete that. I would never. That's amazing. Like, you never know until you apply for it. And the worst case, they're gonna say no, and you're right where you are now. So, like, you literally have nowhere to go but up from here. So, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Do the damn thing. Okay. Look, Mom, jumping on the bed. Okay, this must have been where the Castellan slept. Okay, nope, jump down. I don't need to jump on the bed anymore. There's a note left by a Castellan. Often I feel that the time passes awkwardly around here. In some places, the flowers never die. In other places, they wither ever so quickly. I cannot stay here very long, for I know my sanity will leave me. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. It's sealed shut by immense power. Can I shoot the mirror? Nope. Okay. They say I will get it regardless. Like, I asked if I'm allowed to pick my own size and such, because you know how I am. But interesting enough, the last time we played DMC1, it took me 6 hours. That's amazing. I had to choose my own clinic and size. Going for the clinic my sister went to because she was allowed to go home the same day. Hospital beds and me don't go well. I will be a brat. Beautiful. Okay. An emblem of a sun is engraved. There's something written beneath it. The brightness of the guiding light will scorch you. Only those who can bear the light can open the new path. Let's see. Is there anything over here? There's a portrait of the Castellan and his spouse placed above the fireplace. Cute. ... Okay. What did this say again? It's a statue of a female with a melancholic expression. There's an opening to place something. So I can't break that, but it looks like there's something in the reflection. And this is sealed shut. So I can't open that yet. What did this say over here? Okay. Think. B, big brain. There was a fucking hair on my lip. Is there a reason why I can get up here? And can I shoot anything? Can I shoot this thing? What about this thing? Nope. Can I shoot the lights? No. I asked the nurse the other day, since I'm in the waiting game, is it possible to do this in between already? So it's all done and cured. I have nothing to worry about. She said, here's the link, go for it. All I know is as soon as they deposit in my bank, I have 3 years to get it done before I have to supply a receipt. And whatever is left of the amount. Okay, is there anything up here? Anything up here? Anything over in this corner? Shut up! I don't care where the Castellan slept. This looks like... Okay. Get down. Get down. I care where the Castellan slept. It's an interesting fact. Can I shoot? This is the only place that I could go. And I gotta put something in there, shine light on here. Let me know if you need help. I will, Luna. I will. I like to struggle because I like to be a big brain girl. Just trying to see if I can... I feel like there's gotta be something that I could do with this fucking portrait. Even though I can't see the portrait. I don't think there's anything. Throw sword like a boomerang, double jump in the air. No worries, I'll watch you suffer more. Yes, please. Okay. Alright, we're gonna go back out here. We're gonna see if there was anything out here that I may have missed. Worst case, I mean, I'll just get more orbs. And then this thing over here said the key is in the highest part. Can I shoot it? No. Sword is the key to freeing the soul. I'm gonna fight Canva? Oh no, why are we fighting Canva? Why are we fighting Canva? Alright, so that was one door. Is there like extra that I could go around here? Can I jump down? Oh. I don't know if I was supposed to do that, but we did it. What is down here? Oh, is this an elevator that brings me back up? I did it. I'm trying to make something circular for my schedule and star shape to see what I love best, but it won't let me. Like, I added a shape to my design, and I thought as soon as I would size the thing that it has to fit the shape, that it would auto fit it. Oh. Yeah, Canva be stupid in that aspect. I'm glad that fall damage is not a thing. Okay, what is... It's sealed shut by immense power. There's something written. This path will open with a guiding soul. Okay. Come on. See, I figure things out eventually. I just do dumb shit that I might not. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back up on the elevator. Elevator, go up. See, I just do dumb shit until I figure it out. So, I'm assuming that the decorative sword thing goes into the face of the woman, and then that unlocks something. I couldn't do this without my butts. Yes, I could not do this without my butts. My butts are the best butts on Twitch. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that melancholy soul, an ornament resembling a soul, when activated, it loses its power over time. What's gonna come out from the mirror? What is this? No. Is it gonna be my reflection like Dark Dante that I have to fucking fight? Are you kidding me? No, stay in the mirror. Stay in the motherfucking mirror. You stay in the goddamn mirror. No, bad reflection. Bad reflection. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. Fighters! I love your face, fighters. How are you? Did I just release a demon out into the world? What? What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Can I go out here now? Okay, I can. I can't go back in. I have to defeat the Black Knight. Motherfucker. Okay. Okay. So this is how Annie transforms when she sees Shady in March and kicks his ass. Yes. Yes. Do you have to... Don't grab me. The Dark Knight rises. I'm gonna die, guys. No! No! Oh. Now, why are you gonna do that for? You come down here. Really? Really? Ah, I'm gonna die. Let's go. I only needed this for the health. You motherfucker. Why is it you are the way you are? You better not shoot stupid ass fireballs at me. Or I swear to God I'm gonna end you. No! You motherfucker. Okay. Okay. I can do this. I can do this. Literally the only thing I know about DMC is Dante. Same. Same. Well, this looks way different than DMC5. Tessa! Hi, Tessa. Welcome in. How are you? I love your face. I hope you're doing good. Alley-oop! No, 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 no. Woo! Dodge that shit. I hate teleporting bitches. I hate teleporting bitches. There's no need for that. None whatsoever. Ah! Get parry, bitch. Haha, you thought you were smooth. Just do me a favor and die. Excuse me? Don't grab my skull. Don't. No. Excuse me? I beat your ass. Don't take my necklace. Don't take... What is happening? What is happening? Ayo? Okay. Okay. I'll take it. I found it. Let's go, Lady Sushi. Let's go. Nice. Turns out I took the wrong thing. Oh, no. It looks like you got it. I use stamp instead of frame. Ah, yep, that'll do it. That'll do it. Next mission. Guiding to the soul. Go to the destination before the power of the melancholy soul fades away. It's about to time me. What's this? Become airborne and be capable of performing aerial... Yes, please. Yes, yes. Yes. Okay. Is it gonna start me up outside? Oh. Okay. Ooh. I want to see if that worked. That did work! It worked! Okay. Sorry, that's a new thing that I added. New buttons? Yes. New No! No! Go away! Go away! Please and thank you. I don't want to fight you. I literally don't want to fight you. Can I go this way? I have to fight you. This is that bullshit. Woo! Ooh. Get fucked! God damn! Fuck out of here! Okay. Okay. Now we must be speed! I is speedrunner! I is speedrunner. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Speed! Speed, Annie, speed! go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Fuck off! Oh my god, camera, camera. Fuck off. Yes. Yes. Okay, now I don't care. I could fight them. That I don't care. Oh, that was it for the mission? That was fast. Huh. Huh, huh, huh. Okay. Good thing there's no fall damage, right? Right? Yes, we have new buttons. We have viewer of the moment, where your name will pop up on stream all the way over there for 5 minutes. It's a way to kind of like give shout outs to people on their own terms. That way it's not like, you know, we give shout outs to people who raid in, and like, you know, certain people we give shout outs to, but this gives you a shout out on your own terms. So I thought it was like kind of a cool thing that you determine, you know, your own shout out. Is Cute Annie an original? Yeah, I thought so. I don't see anybody really doing something like that. And it's a way to like kind of give something back to you guys, and even like the people that don't stream, you know, they could still have their little shining spotlight moment if they wanted it. Let's see. Is cute. Thank you. Okay, I'm all caught up. We gonna save. Save here. And then next mission. Evil of the Waterways. Defeat the evil guardian and acquire the guiding light. Oh, the guiding light, and then I gotta bring it back to the sun in the room. I don't have enough to do that. I don't have enough to do that. I don't need that. I think I'll be fine. I can't charge anything up here. Okay, cool. Sun moments in DMC, you'll be timed a lot, so be careful. Oh, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about no time limits. Oh. Wait. Oh, I only need one more blue orb fragment. Very nice. Very nice. This looks like an ominous hallway. I don't like it. This also looks ominous. A rusty key, and of course, monsters! Kill all the monsters! Herman! Hi, Herman, I love your face. I adore you. I'm killing all the monsters. Oh! We shooty bang bang. I think I shot all the monsters. Oh no, there's you. Shooty bang bang. I did it. Herman, how are you? How are you feeling? I hope you're feeling a lot better. I love your face. I hope you got all the Pippin cuddles this morning. I hope the Pippin cuddles were healing. Doing well? Good. I'm glad you're doing well. That makes me happy. Hermit, have you ever played Devil May Cry? If you haven't, you totally should. I think you'd enjoy it. I didn't add salt to my rice, chicken, peas, and onions. I'm like, oh dear. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Let's... Ah! It fruit up at me. Mama fruit up. They're everywhere. I love the Devil May Cry aesthetic. I wanted to be Dante when I was younger. I had a feeling that you would love this. I feel like, you know, just Dante is just cool. Ooh. Give me all the red orbs, please. Give red orbs. Give all the orbs. All of them. Okay, that leads to nowhere. I feel like the spider's gonna come chase me down this hallway. Because we got buggies. Oh, that's where the rusty key went. Oh, cool. You have Dante's necklace? That's really cool. That's really cool. I have Sora's necklace. I bought Sora's necklace. Eventually I'm gonna do a Sora cosplay. Eventually. What's down here? Probably death. Because I can't see where I'm going. I need to go get salt, BRB. Yes, go get salt. Go get all the salts. I need to go get butt spot, please. Hello? Butt spot is on one today. Why do I feel like this is bad? Why do I feel like that's bad? Oh, hello there. Oh, I am caught. That's what that is. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm gonna die. It's gonna kill me. That is unfair. You can get out of here. Tisa! I died. Tisa! Hi Tisa, I love your spin. Thank you for the tier 1 sub for 2 whole months. Holy shit. It's already been 2 months. My god. That's a long ass time. Hi Tisa, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Oh, buggy! No buggy. No bugs. 2 months, it feels so short. I know. I know. I can't believe it's already been 2 months. Ooh, wait. Did these things respawn? Or no? But Tisa, how are you? How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. I love your face. I absolutely adore you. Okay, so God, I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Thanks, I hate it here. Ah! Fucking stop. Stop it! Stop. I hate that I'm in a tiny little thing. Can I get more space? Like, can I get... I don't want him to touch me. He's trying to touch my butt, and I don't like it. Ari, do you like this game? I love this game. This game is fantastic. I love things that are, like, dark and creepy, and also games that give me a challenge. And this game has definitely been challenging. Like, it is fantastic. I hate games that are too easy. Can I just, like, no, I can't walk out there. Okay. Bang, 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 bang. I love that there's unlimited ammo. Fuck this shit. I need help. I need... Ah! And I died. I hate this guy. I hate him. I hate him so much. He can eat my whole ass. He can eat my entire
Welcome to the
asshole.
Outback, motherfucker!
Yeah, ban that
Banned.
motherfucker. About to go grocery shopping and resisting the urge to wear the power suit for it? Do it. Wear the power suit. Do it. No space for you. Literally, this guy said, I'm gonna be up your ass and you're gonna like it. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't have enough for anything. Ugh. This boss is a bitch to fight, literally. This boss is a bitch. He's the worst. So far, he's the worst, and I hate his fucking face. Okay, what's the thing that came? Yeah, I need the blue orb fragment. I mean, you do yell, eat my ass a lot. Okay, but I don't want scissors to my ass. Like, I said eat my ass, not cut my ass up. Buggies! We're just gonna shoot everything.
That's some ass.
Mm-hmm. That is some ass. Go away. Woo! Mama Froda! That's what it's saying. It's saying Mama Froda. Can we not, Dante? Like, can we focus on the things at hand that are actively trying to throw up on us? Mom, Annie's throw up made me throw up. Stop puking at me. Shit. Okay, you need to get the power suit hemmed. Oh. If I was there, I would hem it for you. He wants to eat ass, you backpedal? No. No. If I yell, eat my ass, that's fine. Eat my entire ass. Don't take scissors to my ass. That's not okay. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. Give me all the orbs. Give orbs, please. Oh, I wonder. I'm gonna go do a thing. I'm gonna go see if I could do a thing. I might be big braining right now. I might be big brain. I might be big brain girl. Lady Sushi, get your ass back here. Bring that ass here. I forgot you were fucking there. Rude. Stop that. Hello? Give orbs. What does this do? Shut the fuck up with your laughter. You're dead. You are dead. I'm gonna go see if I could power anything up now that I have more red orbs. Am I a big brain girl? Am I a fucking genius? I am. I am a big brain girl. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do this thing, right? Right? And I'm gonna buy one of these. Because I feel like I could use it. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're gonna do that. Right? Right? So I'm gonna go down. Ah! Fuck you. No. No, go away. I don't want you to touch the butt. I don't like it. Ah! Okay. Where are you aiming at, Dante? I don't know what the fuck you're aiming at. Let me catch up on chat because I feel like I'm a little behind. I had an interesting dream last night, but it felt more like I was in a movie. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. What was the dream about? If you want to share. You don't have to share. I mean, I'm on a quarter of a brain cell. I am on no brain cells. I am on no brain cells today. I am on absolutely no brain cells. My Wi-Fi is bugging out a lot. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Okay. You use the rusty key. I hate it now. I got a song stuck in my head. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, let's try this again. I think I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that. Because I feel like I'm probably gonna need it after. Because now I have a little bit of health. Whoop, ha 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 ha. I got this, I got it, I got it, I got it. Oh, I don't got it. Oh, I don't got it. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna use this. We're just gonna be a little proactive, because I feel like I'm like one hit. Get back in the arena, you bitch. Stop that. Stop that. Get back in here. Woo! Stop it, stop it, stop it. Stop it. I'm gonna die. Yep, I died. God damn it! This is some bullshit. Do I still have... Don't. Okay. This is some bullshit. This boss is a whole bag of dicks. A whole bag of dicks. Like to start out like there was a war and I was the Demon King's daughter. Ooh, interesting. That would sound like a cool story. Cause what in the what in the butt is stuck in my head? Bag of dicks put me in, coach. Oh no. Stop that. Oh fuck, I'm hitting the wrong button. Can we get me out of here? Get me out of here. James! Hi, James! How are you? Thank you so much for the 2 months!
Oh hi Philip lol Ru you Ani.
Oh, 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 oh! This is some bullshit. Wait. I'm gonna fucking die. Yep. Ow. Literally. But James, how are you? I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing good. I'm so glad to see you. Basically, I grew up with a normal human family not knowing I was the daughter of the Demon King. Ooh. That would be cool. Like, that'd be a cool story to read. It kind of gives me, like, Pan's Labyrinth vibes. Like, growing up and not knowing that you're, like, the daughter of like, royalty. Fucking stop! Oh my god! Oh my god, I fucking thinks I hate it. Oh, I did it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go back and get the thingies that were down here. Oh, fucking hell, that was a struggle. Are the thingies, they should still be down here. Yep, give me extra red orbs. Yeah, I'm letting you live down, accepting being called Philip. Nope, only in that stream. Only in that stream am I okay with being called Philip. Time and place and context. Is this gonna be another thing where I have to, like, race to the top for guiding light? It's probably gonna be another thing like that. There might be some stuff that is rated M for mature. I didn't know if I told you about the hospital phone appointment I had, that maybe, and I'm not getting my hopes up, but it could already be my turn in September. Now with the consistent updates over the phone, it's a home stretch. I don't care, 8 months, 16 months, or 24. I was already set on 2 years of waiting. I think I saw it on Twitter? Did I see it on Twitter? I saw it somewhere that, you could possibly get it as soon as 8 months, or you could be waiting up to 2 years or something like that. I think it was Twitter where I saw it. But yeah, I heard. So what game is this? This is Devil May Cry. This is Devil May Cry. It is a fantastic game. It is lovely. I love everything about it. I don't think I can buy anything. No, I can't. No, I can't buy anything. Okay, that's cool. Cool. Mission start. Why is my health? Why? Hello? Is this shit draining my health? Oh my god. No! Go away! Health. What the fuck? Spider, go the fuck away. He's gonna come out that gate. Isn't he? You motherfucker. No, fuck off. Oh my god, it's draining my health. And I have to fucking fight those bitches? Oh my god. No! Oh, I'm gonna fucking die. This shit's gonna fucking murder me. Okay. You know what? This is fine. I just started a new mission. This is okay. This is okay. So I think I've watched the Devil May Cry anime. Is this anything like that? I'm assuming yes. Oh, you see, if I would have read the fucking text at the beginning. Return to the bedroom before the guiding light absorbs all of your vitality. And this motherfucking spider bitch is gonna come out of nowhere. Or not? Oh wait, no, it was when I rounded this corner. That's when it was. Can he just, like, fuck off already? Can he just fuck off? Like, I do not have time for you. Oh my fucking god. You bitches. Stop! God fucking damn it, I'm gonna die. Give, 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 give. Unlock the door. Unlock the door. Unlock the door. I don't have much time. Unlock the door. Fuck off with all of your laughing. Don't show up out here. Don't you! Oh, a little bit of health. Little bit of health. Little bit of health. Okay. Take me up! Oh, this is gonna cut it close. This is gonna cut it close. This is really gonna cut it close. Take it! Take it! My anxiety is not built up for this. The way my anxiety is set up. Yes, get it out of here! Do you see how close? Do we see how close that is? Fucking hell. Excuse me? First of all, that motherfucking spider is going... I'm gonna beat the shit out of it so hard one of these times. I'm just gonna destroy it. I'm just, like, I'm gonna wreck its shit. Whew. How much health do I have? How much health do I have? Can I don't think I can make that. I can make that. Okay. The legendary knight returns. Activate the mechanism and escape from the rooftop. Nothing here. We'll go ahead. We'll just do that. We'll do that. It's a precautionary measure. I don't know what the fuck I'm about to walk into. I should probably start saving up to, like, power up Alistor. That would probably be a smart idea. But I am not always a smart person. Is this gonna hurt me? This is creepy. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm here for the creepiness. Alley-oop. Oh, this is gonna be a boss fight. This is 110% gonna be a boss fight! What'd I tell you? What did I tell you? You! I'm gonna beat that ass! I'm gonna beat that ass. Probably gonna die a lot. Oh, this is payback. Payback, motherfucker.
Finally, I was getting tired of playing your childish games.
Fucking facts. Okay. Oh, okay, so you can do that. That is a thing that you can do. Oh, that is the thing that you do also. Payback time, bitch. Woo! I feel like there's gonna be a phase 2. Because ain't no fucking way. Oh! Ooh! Nobody puts baby in the corner. Get me out of the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. Oh, I'm gonna beat this ass. Oh, beat that ass. Tired of your shit, bitch. That is what you fucking get. I hope your corpse rots there for all of eternity. I hope you don't actually fucking die and you just ride there in pain. Get the fuck out of here. I am God. Ooh, hello there. Now plunge your sword into his face. Just like dive bomb into him. Ah, damn. I thought his corpse was gonna stay up there for you know, a trophy. But now it said escape from the rooftop. So now I have like a sneaking suspicion that this shit's not over. Oh, hi Trish. Trish? Mommy. Gib all of that. Can I? Okay. Hello? Where the fuck do I go from here? Oh, okay, I go down here. What is this? What is this? King Trident shit? Cannot be used as a weapon. Damn it! Take all the fun out of everything. I'm gonna kill my Wi-Fi? Oh no. Don't kill the Wi-Fi. Don't kill the Wi-Fi. Okay, so I guess I gotta go down the hole. And... Dante, go down the hole. Okay, so that's a thing we gotta do. But what is over here? There's gotta... Ooh, hello. It's the corpse of a soldier who must have wandered into the castle and died from exhaustion. He's holding something. Grenade gun? Can I use it? What is this? There must be a way to open this. Grenade gun. Lever used to wind up the drawbridge. It's heavily rusted. A strong downward force may help move the lever. Ah! Yes, you could use the baby. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Ooh. Okay. And... Oh, we don't just fall down. Okay, cool. Oh! Hi there. Wait! This was the three-hole thing! The trident! I'm not... Okay. Yes. Yes, please. Oh. Don't you love when things go smoothly? Absolutely. Can you let me through? I don't understand why you locked me in there in the first place. Wait, there were knights here. And they're not here anymore. So I guess I go through here. Ah! I have 0 health. We love it when things go buttly. We do love it when things go buttly. Things going buttly is my favorite thing. Okay, so they're just gonna keep showing up. We're going exploring, guys. Oh no, that's where the knights were. Okay. Okay. Wait, camera. Please. Okay, so that was the red door. That leads me back out to the front. I'm gonna see if I could go level anything up. Seeing as I have a little time thing here. I gotta get ready for the movies. Ooh, what movie are you gonna go see, James? If you have the time to say. Okay, I need to heal up, but also, like, I need to start saving my shit. What was this way? Puss in Boots? Ooh, nice. Well, enjoy the movie, James. Thank you so much for being here. We love your face. And we appreciate you. Go enjoy the movie. Have fun. Ooh, health. Give health. Health is needed. Health is very much appreciated. Let's see, is it gonna give me health? I mean, at least I'll get enough, like, red orbs to level something up if I stay here for a little bit. Orbs! Give! Give. Come on. And health. Oh, we love when things work smoothly. Okay, I don't think I need to go this way. I actually think I need to go back the way that I came. Not gonna lie, a little lost right now, but that's okay. Because I will figure it out. I'm gonna sneeze. Ugh. Okay. Probably gonna sneeze again. Woo! Yeah, I'm gonna sneeze again. Come on, give me more. Give more, please. I will take all of the red orbs. Thank you for the bless you, Luna. Thank you, thank you. Come on. Jamon Lee. Okay. These guys are just a piece of cake now. Beautiful. Okay. So I came in through this door. This is where the trident was at. There's nothing over here. Oh! Is there anything over here? Shall I use the trident again? Ooh, what happens if I use it again? Oh! Ooh, is it a time thing with the gate below? I wonder. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Yeah, Luna, I ask a lot of rhetorical questions. It's my way of trying to figure things out and, like, work things out on my own. Fuck off. Ooh, I did it. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Don't mind me then. Okay, two hunters are out in the woods when one of them collapses. He doesn't seem to be breathing and his eyes are glazed. The other guy whips out his phone and calls the emergency services. He gasps, "My friend is dead. What can I do?" The operator says, calm down. I can help. First, let's make sure he's dead." There's a silence and a shot is heard back on the phone. The guy says, "Okay, now what?" Oh god, Dutchie. Oh no. Oh no. Ooh. Okay. Save.
Welcome to the Outback, motherfucker!
Why are we banning
Ban.
the goose? Why are we banning the bot? The bot didn't do anything. The bot is just out here living its best life. Use a new strength to open up the door. Okay. I need to save up. I need to save. For bad PP measure? Oh no. We love the bot. We love the goose. The goose is just out here living its best life. Well, there's no going back. At least I don't think there's any going back. Nope. All right. Well, at least not for now. Anyways. What is this? We love Miss Magoose. We do love Miss Magoose. There's a message carved in the stone. It seems to be a story of some kind. Destiny awaits somewhere deep in the Colosseum. That's it. That's the story. It's a shitty story. Alright. I don't like the sound of the Colosseum. That sounds like a lot of enemies that I'm gonna have to fight at one time. I finished making the thing, not sure if it's messy or not. It's informative, so I think I'll just upload it. Fuck yeah, Lady Sushi. Hello, lizard bitches! Okay. Ah! Stop! I keep hitting the wrong button. Woo! Ooh, wait. Wait! Wait! I'm gonna blow them up. It's gonna go boom. I finally stripped the castle background after a year. It bored the hell out of me. Also this year I might be able to do voice covers. Let's go! Shrek 'em! I am. I'm gonna blow them up. I'm gonna blow them up. I'm gonna do the thing. Woo! Oh shit, I missed. Ah! Oh my god, stop moving. Stop it. I just want you to go boom. I want you to go boom. No! Go boom! I'm gonna die. I'm gonna collect this yellow orb over here just in case. Ah! No, get off of my yellow orb. Kill them all. She has a new toy. I do have a new toy. Oh! No! You motherfucker! This is okay. I'm glad I grabbed that yellow orb. Dingus be dingusin. Dingus always dingusin. It's okay. It's okay. We still love you, Hermit. I don't know if I still have it equipped. No. No, 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 no. That's 2 and 3. Big gun go boom. Big gun go boom. I'm gonna collect all these things. Oh my god, Annie, what? Big gun go boom! You're not okay right now. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. What is this? There's an emblem of a shield on the door that glows with red light. Okay. Hermit, thank you for the hugs for everyone. Everyone deserves warm hugs. There's a decoration resembling 2 knights. It appears as though the knights should be holding something. Words are carved beneath the decoration. The shields that glow with the light and a pair of lances shall lead to the battleground. Okay. Fucking love you. I love you, Lady Sushi. And there's another glowing shield with a purple light. With a blue light. That is clearly purple. That is not blue. Get your fucking eyes checked. Please and thank you. Okay, I don't know what's in here. Can I go this way? Am I... Get up there. Thank you. I don't know where I'm going. Okay, so that's a thing. That probably brings down that thing. We're gonna do it. I'm probably gonna wind up having to fight too. It always happens. It always happens. Ayo. Oh god, I'm not a platformer. I don't platform well. Okay. There's an inscription on the base. Also, BRB, I got to check in things. This is what I mean. I'm tired. Just want to hang out with friends. I have to put on the potatoes. Go do the thing. Go do the thing, Lady Sushi. We're still going to be here for a little bit. Sunday's meant for Dinguson. Tis true. Tis true. My name is Ifrit. The fool who awakens me shall pay dearly with the fires of hell. What did I just do? What did I just do? Do I have new power? Oh, do I have new... Oh. I'm gonna set everything on fire. I'm gonna set things on fire. Ooh. Congrats, this is the Final Fantasy. I want to set things on fire. Oh my god. Oh my god, your evil laugh. I'm glad you love my evil laugh, Amber. I can make things blow up, and I can set enemies on fire. I love this game. This 10 out of 10. 10 out of fucking 10. What is this? What is over here? Ooh. Ooh. And down we go. What are we doing? Who am I fucking up now? Oh, that's a big boy. Oh, that's a big boy.
Block off, Featherface, or you can stick around and find out the hard way.
Oh! What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh! Okay. Ooh. Oh shit. Why do I feel like these are good things? Like little platforms that I can... I don't know. Oh, he coming! He coming! Oh Lord, he coming. Oh, he hit me. Alright, these gotta do something. These have gotta do something. Woo! Oh! Oh Lord, he coming! Savage! Hi Savage! Thank you so much for the lurk! Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Woo! Oh, he coming! He coming! He wanna touch the butt. He wanna touch the butt. Woo! Oh god. Oh shit. Ooh. Oh shit. Okay. Damn, we were close. We were close. This is okay though. This is okay. Wait, do I still have to go do the whole thing with Ifrit again? I think I do. I'm so close. I know. But that's okay. That's okay. I don't think I've literally ever first tried a boss here, so this is on par. Oh, okay. Oh, damn, we gotta do all that again. You know what? This is fine. This is fine. Oh, I didn't know there was a message here. Okay, the Wheel of Destiny shall guide you to the land of the beginning. Okay. Okay. We gonna try that again. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. We have anonymous follows on, so you can feel free to lurk safely, and I won't call you out of your lurk. But we'd love to chat with you if you would like to. Okay, let's go get the Ifrit power again. Do I have to fight them? Is this a thing? They annoy me. Is there a thing? No, I think I could just go straight through. They annoy me. Stop that. Stop that. I really wanted to say hello, friends. Firemaster Luke, welcome in. Welcome in. Enjoy your lurk. Enjoy the lurkies. I appreciate having you here. Okay. Is there any more red orbs? No, there's not. Okay. Let's go speed run this shit. Alright, platformer time. Let me channel my inner Hollow Knight strats. Alley-oop. Oh. That didn't happen. Y'all did not see that. How the fuck did I do it so fine the first time, but now I'm just like, nope. Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh shit. Oh shit. Didn't mean to do that. Whoa! Okay. I just want to watch this again because this is so fucking cool. I have infinite power. Alright, we're just gonna like we're gonna let's see, make sure everything is equipped. Yes, equip that. And then we have devil arms. Okay. Alright, serious time. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go. Oh shit. Come on. Why is it I can't dodge that now? Hello? No. Go away. Go away. Woo! Oh, he touched the butt. Ooh! I wonder if that health is still up there. Because I didn't get it in the... Oh. It should be. Which will be real nice. Is. I want to touch the butt. River, you could touch the butt. That's okay. What the fuck was that? You didn't do that this time. Shit, I barely missed that. No. Ooh, okay. Stop that, 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 stop that. No. Shit, I keep timing that wrong. No, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at. heart is pounding. Ah! Oh. I gotta take a breather. I gotta take a quick breather. And my heart's pounding. My heart is pounding. Take a sip. Okay. Okay. Ooh, I could go see if I can upgrade anything for maybe I can upgrade shit for my shooty pow pow fire fists. 83%? Let's fucking go, Lady Sushi. Respectable. Okay. We're gonna go up. And then we're gonna go over here. And then we're gonna see what can I do for Ifrit. That'll be 1,200. I think that's a solid, solid fucking thing. I personally messed up. Now I won't have to cook. Oh no. Okay. Oh, you guys are here. No. No. No, don't touch me. No. Don't touch me there. This is my no square. I don't want to fight you. 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 Words are carved here. A pair of flames that dwell with the strength will open the path. I'm gonna die here. Just fucking die already. Not me. I don't want to die yet. Ain't that some bullshit? That's that bullshit. Well, you know, at least I go in there with like fucking full strength. And I should still have my power up. And this big bitch right here, I can't see anything. Where are you going? Why are you running? Why are you running? Big bitch, go down. No. Go, no. Stop that. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Woo, 71%, 46%. I'm seeing some solid numbers here. Why won't you die? Why did they keep spawning? Stop it. I mean, don't we love solid? We do love solid. Oh my god, are they just gonna keep fucking spawning? Is this a thing that happens? Do I need to go this way? Do I need to punch the door? Okay, I guess not. Ah! Okay, there's another door over here. No. It's sealed shut from the other side. What the fuck type of shit is this? Ooh. Woo! Oh god, he came up here. He came up here. You know what? Fuck your shit. What is this? Holy water. Okay. Ooh, give health. Give health. Stop it! Go the fuck away! Please tell me you're the last one. Okay. Get that snurch out of here, fighters. Get out of here with that. Okay. I may or may not have just fucked half my LED No, Madden. Madden, no. Okay. Oh, I gotta do it to this side. There we go. I'm a genius. Yeah, get out of here with that snurch, fighters. No. We don't talk about snurch here. What is happening? What is this? No. No. Okay, it's just puppets. It's just puppets. And that thing, whatever that thing is. Can I? Ah! Fuck your shit, homie G. Okay. Stay down. I love this. I'm just curb stomping them. That's all I'm fucking doing. Health. Oh, fire bad. Fire is bad. Oh. Oh, I missed. I feel like he's the last one. I did it. 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 Okay. Let me catch up on chat. Let me catch up on chat. Darn, I tried. I was cleaning my chair, spun and ripped it. Oh no, Madden. No. Ma'am, what did you break? I didn't break anything. What do you mean, what did I break? Why you summon puppets? I didn't. I didn't mean to. Stop yelling at me. Puppets scary. Puppets are scary. I don't like puppets. Ooh. Okay, so this is a thingy that I can upgrade. Is there... Ooh, wait. Is there anything else I can upgrade? Yes, please. Yes, Gib peas and tankies. Get caught in the fucking corner. There's another one. Look out! Welcome in. How are you? I broke a gravestone. I feel like that's like sacrilegious or something. Lagaya, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Whoop. 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 Devil Mary cry. Yes, I... What was that? You bitch. American. Stop that. Stop it. No. No, 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 no. American. Oh, okay. I kind of need that. Okay, I need to take care of you. Because you're getting on my everlast fucking nerve. Put it out! Don't you fucking do it. Don't you fucking do it. Okay, you're down. Oh my god. Oh, wow. Thank the good Lord that I got help. Ooh, so I hope you're doing good. I'm glad to see you. I'm gonna catch up on chat after these motherfuckers die. Kamehameha! Oh, damn it. Ah! Are we done? Are we done? Are we done? Can I talk to chat now? Can I please talk to chat? Thank you. Okay, okay. Let me catch up on chat. Let me catch up on chat. Look, I hope you're doing good. I'm so glad to see you. So I forgot certain enemies in this game. And you're using the Ifrit weapon, dude. I love this weapon so much. Okay. Sword Prophet, welcome in. There we go. Okay. I'm doing fine. I'm glad you're doing good, Lagaya. I'm glad you're doing good. Scarlet, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing good. I still have to finish my Virgil playing DMC 4 and DMCA 5. Oh, this is my first ever DMC. Like, I have never played a DMC game ever. and I am in love with this game. Absolutely in love. Like, it is fantastic. Okay. So why is that thing still... No! I thought it was done! Just for that, you get an extra Angie. Now are we done? Now are we done? Use 200... Oh, okay, there we go. Cool, 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 cool. Did I mute the game? No, my game shouldn't be muted. Hello? Why do I have no game audio? Why do... Oh, is that why? Oh, okay, okay. It switched the audio source from my headset to my controller for some god-awful reason. I don't understand why, so... Yeah. Ah, mission clear! I did it! I thought my sleep deprivation got to me. No, it swapped my my audio source, which was fucking dumb. Okay, let's see. If you want a really fun and chaotic time, there's a mode in DMC4 where every area is stuffed with enemies. Ooh, I might play that like after I get a feel for all the DMC games, like after I play through all of them. If you're planning on playing all the games, I would play the games in release order. So my original plan was to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 like that way, because those are the games that I have now. I got them on the Steam Winter Sale for like $12. So that was my original plan, was just do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay. Next. Canyon of the Mist. Come out of the Labyrinth Canyon alive. Okay. So, we have hit that 3-hour mark. And I do have to do some adulting. I do have to, like, do dishes and laundry and get ready for tomorrow. So we're just gonna pop on over here. We're gonna play some music. And we're going to refresh this because we've got some new friendos that came in. No ending. I gotta end. I got to. I have adulting that I need to get done. I have to go back to work tomorrow. So I do need to get my shit together. As far as laundry and dishes, and I gotta cook dinner, and I gotta do some things. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I had so much fun with this stream. Like, I'm glad I got DMC working on my controller, first of all, because last week was a struggle doing mouse and keyboard. Last week was a fucking struggle. So I'm glad I finally figured out how to get it to work with controller. And I feel like we got a good bit of the game done today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Like, I love you guys. Y'all make my days a lot better. We are going to be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for some Final Fantasy XIV. It will be playing with viewers. If you guys have Final Fantasy XIV and you are on the same server as me, I am on the Cactar server for my stream one. You guys are more than welcome to come in and hang and follow me around. I'm going to be doing side quests, main quests. I'm just going to be doing whatever the hell, like, comes to me in game. So it's bound to be a good time. I had a lot of fun today. I love you all. Hang tight, because we are going to be raiding into the New Year, New Friends raid train. I really want to give back to them. I had so much fun doing my slot on Thursday, so we are going to pass the love on to whoever is live now, which I got the schedule right here. So it is on, let's see, they are 3 hours ahead of me. So it should be on Fogbound TV, I believe. Let me just, yep, Fogbound TV. They are in the last hour of their slot. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to paste the link in chat just in case if anyone gets left behind on the raid. There goes the link right there, because Twitch be twitching. And they're playing some Monster Hunter World, which sounds like a fun time. So we're gonna do this, and then this, and then this, and then we're gonna do this. Right, there we go, there we go. So there's also the link to the Discord if anyone wants to join. We also do Final Fantasy 14 nights in the Discord every Saturday, 7 p.m. EST. That's going to be like our normal community night hang time. We just started doing Final Fantasy 14, but some community members have also asked, can we do Cards Against Humanity and other things like that? So I would love to do more community nights in the future. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Like, I love all of y'all. Y'all are fantastic. If you guys want to copy and paste that raid message, we have a sub raid message and a non-sub raid message, so everybody could join in. If you could copy and paste that, put it into Fogbound's chat, and just hang around for the raid train. It's a fantastic thing. The Shady Joker has scheduled it all together. And I've gotten to meet so many new friendos from this event. It's been fantastic getting to raid into new communities and meet new people. So I love you guys. I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. And again, thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me. I'll catch you all tomorrow at 7 p.m. EST. Bye.